Gary Cohn was Mr. Trump's top economic advisor during that first term. He quit the White House early in 2018, partly over tariffs. The former Goldman Sachs president disagreed with the decision to tariff steel and aluminium. Now, of course, Gary Cohn is vice chair at IBM, and he joined me here in Davos.
I think the president is very aware of the significance of Greenland, where it is, where it's geographically located. And ultimately, I think there's a deal to be done there where it's a win-win for both countries.
Except the question of sovereignty. That is something that, seemingly from what Macron and others have said today, is the non-negotiable point, that the US is either going to have to fight or accept.
Yeah, and look, I think that's an untenable situation. This is a NATO ally country. There are French soldiers on the ground, there are German soldiers on the ground, there's Spanish soldiers on the ground. I find it, I'm not able to comprehend the fact that we would actually go to war with allies in the NATO group.
But even if it's solved, isn't the real problem here that the trust of a transatlantic alliance has been, if not destroyed, has been badly damaged, and that's going to have long-lasting implications?
Look, it's not what I would like to see. I think it's not what a lot of people would like to see. I think NATO members could have understood if the president wanted to negotiate quietly with them about the strategic importance of Greenland, but doing it out in the public, no one wins when you have an argument out in the public. It doesn't work at the dinner table, it doesn't work in politics.
You obviously were part of the first administration, you've witnessed the second, we're 1 year exactly into the second administration. What's your gut overview of it?
Look, I think on a policy front, the president has done exactly what he told you he was going to do during the election. You know, he has delivered on what he talked about. He talked about the immigration problem in the United States. He talked about the regulatory burden. He talked about bringing enterprise back to the United States. He talked about bringing industry back to the United States. If you go through his laundry list of things that he ran on and that people elected him on, he's delivering on those.
Are you admirable, or are you in admiration of it, or are you watching with some criticism of it?
Look, I'm not sure they're the tactics I would have chosen.
Right.
But they're the results that people voted for.
Okay. Now we look at where we stand technologically, on technology, because obviously that's your bailiwick now. The benefits that we are seeing are there and growing and will get larger. But so are the potential down risks, employment, the haves and have-nots. Are we giving enough time and attention to that?
So on the employment side, I might differ with you. I do think there are some unintended consequences as we get there. Look, right now we're seeing the price of power. The price of power in the United States, the price of power in the world is going up because data centers are trying to buy and accumulate more power than we have in the system. So one of the short-term effects is the price of power. On the long-term effect of employment, this is where I think I disagree with you a little bit. If you go back in the history of the world and you go back and look through every major technological advancement, all it did was create growth and create productivity. And productivity and growth creates jobs. And you can go back to the horse and buggy to the car, your internal combustion engine, you can go back to the internet, you can go back to any one of these seismic changes we lived through. The global economy got bigger, jobs were created, and global wealth went up.
Before we come to the board, final question to you. Of all the jobs that you've had, and you've been in different...
Are you trying to say I can't keep a job?
No, I'm not. I'm saying you've come in different worlds, from banking through to government, now into tech at a different level. Are you enjoying this level? Because it's a different life than you had before. Completely different.
They've all been different lives, and they've all been spectacular. Really, being involved in the technology world now for the last 5 years is extraordinary. Having spent 30 years in financial services was extraordinary. Going to serve my country and the government was extraordinary. Right. By the way, you gave me my answer. What gives me hope?
What gives you hope?
Technology.
Oh.
What's wrong? Okay.
Why?
Because we're going to be able to proliferate economic growth in a way we've never been able to.